15 years ago, we started Cage Titans with fans and fighters first in our minds, and man, what a ride it's been. Without you guys, we would not be here today, and I can't thank you enough. The biggest show, the biggest names, all here in the heart of Boston. MGM Fenway, Saturday, February 21st, Cage Titans invades Boston. MGM Fenway with the biggest card we could possibly put together for you fans in New England. MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, grappling, the Cage Titans Super Bowl will all take place here on February 21st.
We are not missing a beat here for Cage Titans Revolution because we got the preview show back, the countdown show, like we do for every Cage Titans event. My name is James Lynch. I am so happy to be joined by one of my good friends, someone I should be sitting in the room with this evening, but great to have someone on the ground here doing this preview show with me. My guy, Zac from 4 Ounces of Freedom. Zac, how's it going? How's the venue? How's everything? You just got in maybe a couple hours ago.
Yeah, I flew in this morning. Your presence is definitely missed here in person.
Thank you. Yeah.
I know we've been going back and forth a little behind the scenes, but it's definitely missed in person here. It's been incredible. I mean, I flew in, I got into Boston around 2, and I got to the venue about 4. And then just being walking around, I walked into the venue before the cage was even built. Mm-hmm. So it was cool to see the cage get built. The ring's already established. Doors have just opened. We're getting ready to just open. And I guess they're open, and we're getting ready to start going underway in about half an hour. So
yeah,
it's
exactly.
Incredible. And no, it's something different to really walk in. I got out of an Uber, and you looked up, and then you saw the pictures that we've seen posted everywhere. You see like the little the banners and the flyers outside of saying, this is the biggest event for Cage Titans. And like I said, I don't want to gloat, but it's incredible to be here in person.
No, gloat away. We want to keep this as consistent as possible. Again, I'd love to be there. I'm a little bit more comfortable here. To some degree, I'm wearing some sweatpants. That's my trade secret here. So that's a little bit nicer. But we got a great event tonight, Zac, and this is a stat card. So much to talk about. And the beauty of doing the show this way is I can actually show you my screen here a little bit. We'll see how this looks on the screen, if it works or not. But this way you can kind of see the card. There's some change ups here. Oh no, it looks like maybe I can't do that because I realize we're split screen, so I think that kind of ruins everything a little bit. But you know what I'm going to do? Let me just see if that... Oh, no, there we go. That works. Okay, it looks a little odd that way, but... maybe I can move it up a little bit or something. I don't know. You know what? We'll remove that. We'll go back to what we were doing. Let's start with the main event, Zac. You're a guy who, I would consider an authority when it comes to regional MMA. You've got Cam Arnold, Andrew Valdina, 2 really good records, 2 fighters that, Andrew said himself, a UFC caliber fight. 7-1 Cam Arnold, 7-0 Andrew Valdina. It's a 130 catch weight, mainly because both these guys do want to go down to 125 at one point. They don't want to have to kill themselves on that first try to get down there. Neither have fought at 125. So they go at 130. What are you expecting from this fight? Because again, both have good records and a lot on the line tonight in the main event.
Yeah, I think first we got to talk about how they looked like at weigh-ins as well. Yeah. First time getting at 130. Both guys, I now feel confident they both make 125.
Yeah.
126 if needed. But they both look incredible. I mean, Cam Arnold has tasted defeat once. Valdina has never tasted defeat in his entire career. Mm-hmm. And what better topper for an event of this size to be these two together? I'm expecting both guys to understand the assignment and go balls to the wall. And I don't really want to give a pick, but I think one of them stays undefeated.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, there we go. I think we know kind of which one you went there. Well, and what's interesting, that one loss that Cam Arnold did have in his career was in Cage Titans. It was back at Cage Titans 57 back in 2023. And it was a fight that he felt he should have got the decision in that one. And that's something he talked to me about in our interview, is that he's going to fight to the death. He does not want to go the distance. He's prepared to go for a war. He's even prepared to be a little bit more patient in some of his fights than we've seen before. But he knows if it goes to the judges' scorecards, Valdina is the guy that people like, that the crowd's going to be on his side. So definitely aware of that. And I think we could see a finish here in this main event as both guys, again, looking to make a statement and get to the next level here. The one thing I do wonder with Andrew Valdina, and I do see we have Joe the Party in the chat here. Of course, that was the last opponent that Andrew Valdina fought. But Joe, we'll get to your question and all the questions that are in the chat as well. But I do wonder about the layoff a bit. Andrew has not fought since May of last year. Is that going to be a factor? Again, cutting weight, a little bit more weight than usual. I do wonder that in this matchup. Obviously, Valdina training at a very good good camp there over at the, obviously he's got the 2 gyms, but also cross training over there at the Cartel. Just how big is this for Valdina specifically because of the age, because of the undefeated record, and the fact that a win here, especially a finish, could probably get him that long-awaited Contender Series spot, if not a outright call to the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, Valdina is also a name that has been passed to me over and over again. I know I'm relatively new to the Cage Titans family, but Valdina, he can talk, he can fight, he hits all the checkbox UFC looks for because it's no longer a record to get signing there anymore. I think if he gets a good win here, a great post fight, we could see him in the fall on Contender Series. I don't know about the same for Cam if he wins. That's the downside.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is a make or break for Valdina because I don't know what happens if he loses.
Yeah. No, for sure. And it's obviously a lot more on the line, I'd say, for Andrew Valdina, aside from the fact that he's undefeated, but a little bit younger. And the one thing with Cam Arnold, if you look at the record there, and this is just facts, this isn't throwing any shade here, not the greatest opponents here. Charlie Gaithers, who we saw in the last Cage Titans card, he's got a 9-11 record, I guess 9-12 now. Sean Johnson was 4-10. So this will be a good test here for Cam Arnold, but certainly a game opponent and someone that could certainly steal that thunder from Andrew Valdina. We got a question here from, first we got Full Metal Dojo. Shout out to you. I've been seeing all your tweets this week. Checking in from Thailand by way of Costa Rica on vacation. Get after it. We appreciate that, Luke. You're the man. I've always seen your stuff on Twitter. Great dude there. Interesting thing here from the Martin family ranch. The Aussie Martin, who's going to be on this card. MGM removed the Aussie Martin fight betting line. That's interesting. I wonder what happened there. Obviously, Aussie and Miguel, I should say, because they're fighting each other. Interesting fight. Well, I'm sure we'll get to it later, but both of them, or Aussie losing his opponent and Miguel stepping up and taking this fight. Pretty fun boxing match we're going to see on this one, not MMA. But I did want to get to Joe the Party's question. We love your questions, Joe. I saw you on the live with Lynch yesterday. Joe, one of the Cage Titans OGs there. What's the people's top anticipated fights on the card? So there's a lot of good fights on here. The ones that really stand out to me, I mean, the main event is sort of an obvious one. This Trevin Jones and Jay Perrin fight, which I guess we can touch on now. Actually, we'll touch on it. I'll touch on it here a little bit, and then we'll get into a little bit more after. I mean, this is 2 UFC veterans, 2 guys that used to fight in the UFC and almost fought each other when they were in the UFC, and you're getting the fight at featherweight, which I like because you're not getting them depleted. You're not getting the excuse of, I cut too much weight or whatever. These are guys that got a decent amount of notice for this fight, or a lot of notice I should say, for this fight. We're going to see a much better fight with the fact it's at 145. And then the other one for me has got to be the boxing fight between Joe Giannetti and Sean Lally. This was a fight that was scheduled in the MMA cage in 2024 for Cage Titans. They now get to do it here all these years later. Obviously, Lally's been out of action for a while. If that name sounds familiar to the average fan out there, Lally's fought a bunch in the New England area, but you remember his fight on Contender Series against Chris Curtis. He is a guy that has sort of made a name for himself, and everyone knows the Skeletor, Joe Giannetti. Those are kind of my obvious 3. Is there any for you, Zach, that you have any a difference of opinion there, or any other fights we should be keeping an eye on? Because there's a lot of good fights on this card.
Yeah, Kyle Bowler versus Ergliev.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's how you actually say it. I think I finally got it down.
No, I think you did. Yeah.
Kyle Bowler is Glover Tessier's first real prospect that has started and built up under him. The word on the street that I've heard when I reached out was hey, is this kid worth interviewing? Was his striking is UFC level already. Okay. High level kickboxer, and I believe his teammate got beat by Ergliev in the fight prior. So this is also a revenge fight for Bowler as well.
Yeah, for sure. And taking on Becksat, I'm gonna butcher that name too, but we'll just stick with Becksat because there's a UFC fighter named Becksat as well that we've sort of seen here too. And obviously we saw him at Cage Titan 74 getting that first round finish there. So a good test here against the Glover Teixeira prospect here in Bowler, who like you said comes with high acclaim. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. What time is Ian Barrett fighting? A little bit later. So Barrett right now on the list I've got, he is currently fight number 9 on here, and then that's also with the fact that they've got to put the ring in there, right? So might take a little bit. So not exactly sure, but like Zach just mentioned, I believe the card's actually starting at 6, right? Is my understanding 6 Eastern?
So there is a 5x5 quintet grappling match going down.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, gotcha.
So and the first fight will probably be about 6 because I think that starts. The quintet starts around 5:30, so 6:15 probably for the first fight.
Mm-hmm. For sure. By the way, I got to point out, Zach, like, I mean, this lighting and everything looks so super cool, super professional. Big shout out to our tech guy, Joe, who does all that. He is one of my favorite people in Cage Titans, just a wizard at what he does. And he's the one that makes a lot of this stuff happen. So shout out to Joe. I don't think he's watching because he's probably making sure some stuff's working in the back, but it's always good to see here too. Luke says, nice. Josh mentioning this is a great card. It really is. And you know, again, obviously we're all here for Cage Titans. We're supporting Cage Titans, but it is a really good card. I mean, Zach, you cover a lot of regional MMA events. Just the mixture of fights, just the fact you get, I mean, a good regional card, I think for a lot of us out there, is a mix of really good prospects, a title fight, or, you know, the fights that have like a lot of meaning, some UFC veterans, you throw in a couple women's fights. Like, this has a bit of everything. And I also love the fact that Giannetti and Lally's a boxing fight, because that just makes it that much more interesting than just a regular MMA fight, right?
Yeah, we're not even counting in. We know we're getting nothing. We're getting something at intermission as well. Like, not only do we have a stat card in person and streaming tonight, like, we have something big being announced at intermission.
Yeah,
so, like, from start to finish, it's nonstop here. Like, when Mike said this was the Super Bowl, like, the Patriots may have not had the best Super Bowl, but this is it. This is like New England's Super Bowl now.
Yeah, it's about as close as it's going to get. Ozzy always has firefights, and my dude Lionel Young can make another viral finish. Lionel Young, man, that's a guy, a lot of respect to him. So I got a chance to chat to him yesterday. You look at some of the guys he's fought. Again, the record, you look at it just on first glance, okay, not the greatest record, but kind of like you, Joe, like a lot of a guy that's been through the gauntlet and fought good opponents. And that's one thing I always have a lot of respect for, the fighters that fight the good opponents. Like, even if the record doesn't back it up, the fact you've been in there with some of those guys that have gone on to bigger and better things, you're not taking easy fights. And Zach, you know as well as anyone, there's a lot of politics on the regional scene. A lot of guys will strategically get fights, but that's one of the things with Cage Titans that they've done a good job with, is they do very good matchmaking for the most part. Yeah,
it's very, like, usually you can go into a card and know what side is supposed to win. Like, this card, this has been probably one of the best matchmakers I've seen in the past year, if not more. Very even across the board. If you look at even the odds that were released for the pro fights, there's really no fights that are blown out of the water this time around either.
Yeah, no, certainly agree. And Josh mentioning here, definitely supporting Cage Titans. I fought on Cage Titans 1. Wow. So there you go. Another OG here in the chat. We really appreciate it. Keep the questions coming, everyone. So the fight that I did want to get it. Well, actually, you know what? Let's get to the Don Shainis fight. Don, we haven't seen in a while. Obviously, hurt himself in the last fight, and going to be taking on Zac C. Zach's another guy as well who's fought some pretty good opposition. He's got the 13-4 record. Big fight here for Don, fighting at 155. So again, not having to worry about the cut as much. What do you think of this matchup for Don's sort of return fight? I think it's kind of the perfect fight where you're fighting a guy that, again, has a lot of experience and can be dangerous, but Don, again, getting a good test, I think, in the fight back.
Yeah, I thought this was a great return fight for the fact that, I mean, Tom Pags, Shayna said it himself. Tom Pags messed him up. I actually messaged it to Tom Pags also, was like, hey, you got some love on the weigh-in show yesterday. But this is nice to know, like, it's a fight that, like, neither guy has a hard set way to win. They both can win by pretty much any way possible. I know a little more internally. This is one of the first fights in a while where Shainis hasn't had to really fight to train this time around.
Yeah, he told me the same thing. Because he had some eye issues from that last fight as well, and so he even told us on the Countdown show yesterday, didn't do a ton of sparring for this one. Again, he's a guy that knows how to fight. Don't need to get in those wars or whatever. But yeah, the prep a little bit different for this one is my understanding.
Yeah, especially, like, as we all know, at the regional level, everyone's working full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Don has a great job now that allows him a lot more free time when he's not working. So Don's life is probably the best it's been in a while, and that's why I'm really interested to see what Don Shainis we get tonight.
Absolutely. Got to mention with Zac DiSabatino. I totally forgot about the Zac, but his last fight, it was a while ago, back in November of 2024. That was the upset win over Luis Pena. You remember that? Pena came into Cage Titans. The thought was, okay, he's going to fight for the title next. All this, he's got to get past Zac DiSabatino. DiSabatino spoiled the party. So we could see part 2 here of Zac being the UFC veteran killer here. We'll have to see in this one. So again, this is what I talk about. Again, Zac's been in there with some great guys. Peter Barrett, he's fought him earlier in his career. He's been in there with some really good guys. So again, a really good fight here here in our co-main event. Let's get to the featherweight fight that I teased there. Trevin Jones and Jay Perrin. Fun one here. Again, Jay told me that this was a fight that when they were both in the UFC almost happened at bantamweight. Trevin, he's moved up to featherweight. His last fight, the last couple since leaving the UFC, were at bantamweight, but feels more comfortable at featherweight. Feels like that's the better move for him. And Jay Perrin, obviously, Joe, you're in the chat. You guys had quite the war last time out. So a fun fight between two UFC veterans, but in the case of Trevin, he really needs to win here. He's on a bit of a losing streak, and for Jay, I think it's a chance for him to add a UFC veteran on the resume, and then that will really propel him. What do you think of this fight?
Yeah, I'm more curious about the time zone difference for Trevin.
Yeah.
I think most people don't understand, like, he lives in Guam. That's a 15-hour time difference.
Yeah.
I know that because I tried interviewing him, and that, as we all know, time zones are fun when you're trying to do across the world. I believe he got in here a day before weigh-ins. So has he accumulated to the time zone? Because, like, I know if I come out your way, like, if I'm out there for 2 days, like, I'm not set for the time zone until I'm coming back. So, like, where is he at this time? You figure 15 hours from now, it's 7 a.m. his time.
Yeah. I think, though, based after talking to him yesterday, it did sound like he finished his camp in Vegas. So I think it was just Vegas to there, which isn't as bad, obviously, just the 3-hour time difference. But you're right. Definitely a factor and something that you should consider as well. Because, look, in the UFC, these guys, when they got a fight in Australia or the Middle East or whatever, they go like a week before. I'm pretty sure, like you said, Trevin probably got here on Wednesday. But the question was, and I should have asked him yesterday, I didn't think to ask him, how long did he have that camp in Vegas? Did he get adjusted there? I would imagine it was at least a week or something, because he got plenty of notice for this fight. This wasn't one that was sort of sprung upon him. My understanding was he found out kind of earlier in the year. So we'll see how that goes, but definitely a factor. Good point there, Zach. So what else do we got? Joe says Don's experience in grinding style versus Pat's distance, length, and BJJ prowess. Well said, Joe. We got to get you on here to do some analysis stuff. You're great at this. I love it. Where can we watch the live stream here? Yes. No. You can watch it on Spectation Sports. And like we want to mention to you guys, it's really important that you, I shouldn't say it's really important, but what's good for everyone, and a great thing that Cage Titans has been doing, find your favorite fighter on the card. They're going to have a promo code that you can use to get a discount on tonight's stream, and that'll get you a subscription to Spectation Sports. And the great thing about that, and Zach, they don't do this for every promotion out there, if the fighter gets a kickback from that. So whatever sales go through that, sign up fee, that goes back to the fighter as well. So you can literally directly support the fighter and get a discount on tonight's event. That's Spectation Sports. You can see it there. That's where you can watch all the action. And Zach, again, you watch a lot of regional MMA. Spectation's got, a ton of content on there, especially in a, day and age, like we're seeing with Fight Pass, where, they're not having as many shows as they used to.
Yeah, I mean, Spectation's is constantly growing. There's 2 cards tonight, not to promote another promotion, but there's 2 tonight. Like, if you buy a month tonight for one of the fighters, like, you're going to get probably 4 to 5 cards in that month.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
$10.
Yeah, not even. I know it's very much worth it. So yeah, again, Dina, hope I'm saying that right. You can watch on spectationsports.com. Okay, keeping things going. We got the women's fight. Cindy Alves, who's a teammate actually of Marina Rodriguez, the UFC fighter, taking on Hillary Rose. The good news is that Hillary's still on this card. She's had some bad luck with opponents and things happening, but Hillary got tons of notice for this fight. I know that because on the last Cage Titans card we chatted, and she sort of alluded to being on this card. So she gets Alves, who only has a couple fights, but again, if you're training with Marina Rodriguez, you probably got some high level girls you're working with in the gym. What do you think of this women's fight, the lone women's fight on the main card?
Yeah, I mean, I want to thank Hillary for saying that 5'7" is tall. I know it's a lot different for women, but it's very rare that very rare that I'm told that I'm tall.
No, we'll give it to you. Yeah.
But no, I think it was great. When I interviewed Hillary, the one thing I kept saying was, like, we focused on, like, if it wasn't her side, it was the other side. Like, there was so much. She has this great streak going on, and then injuries happen. Mm-hmm. And we even said, I was like, hey, let's stop talking about that, because, like, hey, this fight's gonna happen. And then I think it was like 2 days later, her opponent got injured. So then it was like, oh shit, like, can she stay on the card? And Mike went to bat, and he found her opponent, and people will look at the topology and say, well, why does it matter? She's taken fights that she shouldn't have won, and she didn't win. Others would have taken fights that she should have won and won. Saying that, is this I look at this fight as a fight that she shouldn't win. Can she though?
That's the question. Yeah.
There's past the victories here for Alves.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. Again, Alva's 2-3, Hillary Rose 10-7. Big experience gap there, but again, this is a fight that should certainly make some noise on the main card. I love this fight. Nate Andrews back in action. We haven't seen Nate in a while. Of course, if you followed Nate's career, big in the New England area, obviously fought for PFL and Bellator as well. He's got a long layoff. He's healthy. He's back and ready to go. Age is not a number for him. Taking on Aaron Tressel. Excited about this 170 fight for Nate as Nate the Snake comes back to action.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite side. Like, I'm excited to see a Tressel.
Okay.
Tressel is one of those guys who, like, I don't think he can. I don't think he gets what he gets in the gym in the cage. So that's why his record is what it is. Mm-hmm. Here, I'm interested to see, because of Nate coming off of the injury. How does that imply when his return? When he fought Ali in his last fight, his arm shattered on a kick.
Yeah.
Like, it was to the point where he didn't even know it was broken. Like, Dan Migliotta was like, this fight's over. And he had to ask why. And then he looked down and he didn't have an arm. How does that arm look 3 years later?
Yeah, that's a big question. And another thing to consider too, Nate's last couple losses, one of them especially in Bellator, the Syed Awad loss, first round knockout. You're looking at Tressel's record here, a lot of first round finishes here. He does have some knockout power. He's got 5 wins by knockout, the most in his career. So something to keep an eye on. All it takes is one punch. You can catch a very experienced Nate Andrews and then potentially end the night there early. So I agree. Very interested to see that one. And then opening up the card, we talked about it already. Lionel Young taking on Cody Zappone. Talked to Cody, pretty interesting guy. Just one of those like fighters, like, he's not like big on the interviews, but I super appreciate him making time yesterday. He's, pretty calm, cool, and collective guy. Has not fought since the Tom Pags fight back in 2023. So a bit of a layoff here as he takes on a much more experienced Lionel Young to open up the main card here. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, this is a good, like, little veteran scrap. That's like, I think Mike understood how good this fight is, but like, I don't think the general populace understands how good this fight is. And I picked up on the same thing as you did too. Like, Zappone was very like, I'm ready to fight. Yeah. Like,
yeah. And that's just like dead serious, like, yeah, ready to go. Yeah.
And it's kind of fun too. Cause like, not to bounce back to the other fight. Like, that was Tressel. Like, I reached out to interview him again and he was like taking this fight too seriously.
Yeah. Which, like, by the way, shout out to the fighters who actually let us know that you're like zoning in on the fight. That's much better than ghosting. This is something I've complained about many times, but most fighters are good that way. So shout out to Tressel for doing that.
Yeah. So like, I kind of like that when he gave you kind of these like what some would look at as like crappy answers, but it's like, no, like, this guy just wants to fight. Like, what's the point of promoting it the day before? All the promotion's done. Tickets are sold. Like, let's get in the cage and scrap. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking to an actual like full out scrap. I think that one goes to the decision. I don't know what side takes it though.
Yeah, no, totally agree. No Finn is asking me if this is a Bruins tie. It's not. It is a new tie, though. It is actually green. I don't know if you guys can see it on there. So, if anything, it's more like the Minnesota North Stars if we're going with the hockey team there. But I wanted a little yellow because it is Bruins, but I'm from Vancouver. Listen, I know the events in Boston. I can't wear any Boston Bruins stuff. I can't promote the Bruins, unfortunately. That's just, it's in our DNA. I'm pretty sure my citizenship would be revoked here in Canada if that was the case. So can't do that, but still gotta have a nice tie here. Just quickly, some of the fights that we got going on here. We mentioned the Giannetti and Lally fight. I'm interested in this one because Lally kind of told me, and he said it, and he's kind of right. Giannetti's not really known as a striker. He's more of a ground guy, right? So that's something that'll be interesting. Giannetti told me he's like, I'm going to set the record for jabs in a boxing fight. I'm really curious to see how this one goes. You got Giannetti, who's a bit younger. You got Lally with the layoff, but Lally's known for his knockouts. That's what he did throughout the majority of his MMA career.
And he owns a boxing gym.
Yeah, that too.
So,
yeah, that helps.
I get where Joe came from this too. Like, if I beat you at your own game, there's no excuses.
Yeah, that's true.
Where like Joe's still training his full camp. He's still doing his jiu-jitsu and everything because he runs Giannetti MMA. And Lally was able to really focus on just boxing. He said in your interview, like, he's even gone to the Nolan Brothers boxing gym as well. Like, he's getting high level boxing too. Also completely blown away with all that known, why Sean's the underdog in this one.
Oh yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have put him at the underdog in strictly boxing. MMA is a different story, obviously, but yeah, that's interesting. No, the boxing bouts are actually in the ring. So there's a ring portion of the card. So we mentioned Giannetti and Lally. The Ozzy Martin and Miguel fight is going to be that's a 175 catchweight. That's going to be in the ring as well. Same thing with this with Tyler Bissotte and Ian Barrett. Ian Barrett back, of course. We can't overstate that. He's become like a fan favorite. Of course, the younger brother of Peter Barrett, who's sort of Cage Titans and New England royalty out here. So Ian Barrett also also on this card too. And that's a card in itself, is the boxing portion of this thing, which is so cool. Again, 3 really good fights here. So just 3 fights there. Again, you got the Ian Barrett, Ozzy Martin and Miguel, and then Giannetti and Lally, sort of the main event of that boxing card. And then the undercard obviously is amateurs, but a lot of fun stuff there. So
I'm also curious to see how that part goes. I
Yeah.
haven't shared a photo of this part yet.
Yeah.
The cage is on the ground and the ring is on a stage.
Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. You got to get a photo of that.
Yeah. So I mean, I know like the stream is about to go live, so like you'll see it live now on stream, but like it's a really cool setup. Whereas like if you've seen the Ring Titans debut, we all saw the ring on the ground and then taken down and then the cage pulled in. So I'm not sure how it's going to present for the actual fights.
Yeah, a little bit more options here at the hall as opposed, or sorry, I should say at the music hall than the hall. I said that backwards. That's going to happen every now and then. Okay, so yeah, we're kind of winding down here. We got about 5 minutes left here, so keep the questions coming, everyone. We won't go over every single fight, but I'm just looking here, kind of at the undercard, some of the fights that kind of stand out. Jaden Curley's on this card, which is always exciting watching him fight. He is going to be sort of the main event of the amateur portion of the card, fighting at 170. We've got another women's fight on here as well. Just looking at some of the names you mentioned Beckzad, a really interesting guy, obviously won. Ash Rao is back as well. He came up a little bit short in that last fight, so he's going to be looking to avoid 2 straight losses, taking on Jacob Callender. And actually, we have another women's fight on here too. So yeah, good mix. And then opening up the card, we're going to have Roger Santos and Yulan fighting each other too. That's going to be a featherweight fight, 3-minute rounds for those amateur fights. Just something to keep in mind there. Anything stand out to you on the undercard that we haven't talked about yet?
I mean, more so, I guess, is the title fight between Curley and Nynaeve. I don't know.
Yeah, Nynaeve. No, Nynaeve or something. Yeah, either way. Dan, he's fighting Dan. We'll just go with that. Yeah.
That was a fun fight because I was tipped off about Dan before it was announced.
Mm-hmm.
There was like someone local in his area was like, "Hey, this guy's good on Cage Titans. What do you know about him?" And I was like, "I know that you just reached out to me about him." He did great work at other promotions. Now he comes in and steps up against Jay Curley, who was the former champion. Lost it to
Emilio Marquez, who was the teammate of Isaiah Torres, if you remember, and that was part of the reason they brought him out, is because Torres was coming out here, was a teammate of his from Colorado. Yeah,
and now Curley gets to go back and regain the title that he lost prior. So he's hungry. You wanted to defend that a couple more times and go pro. That one, the Huynh and Nichols fight should be really fun. Like the entire card, top to bottom. This is one of the times where I say, promotions usually have a lull in the action. I don't see a lull at all in this card tonight.
Yeah, and should mention for Jake Curley, that other loss to Ozzy Martin. We're going to see that power on display tonight, I'm sure, in the boxing cage as well. He's got some serious power. One of the best prospects right now in Cage Titans in the New England area, Ozzy Martin. You see it there, just 23 years old, but you talk to him, he's mature beyond his years, so something to definitely keep in mind there. So we got just kind of going over this real quick as far as, the card itself. Again, we got the title fight on the amateur ranks there. Hillary Rose fight, not a title fight, but again, that's because of the switch up an opponent. And the main event's not a title fight. Again, it seems like Valdina does want to move down. So we should mention quickly about what's going on at bantamweight right now, because Valdina is the champion. My understanding is he wants to go down to flyweight. Now, is that a fight with Casey Norton? I don't know. I mean, Valdina was, sort of like, hey, we'll see, whatever the coaches decide. Obviously, they do have the same manager too, so that's another wrinkle in this whole thing. So we'll see if that fight ends up happening at some point. We do have an interim champ at 135, and that's Nick Eldridge. So I do wonder here too, is, Cam Arnold told me he may be willing to go, like if he wins tonight, he may go and, see what's going on with 135. We'll see. But I know him and Eldridge, I think, are buddies as well. So I don't know. There's a lot of things that will get sorted out tonight, I'm sure. But again, a lot of implications here for a lot of fighters, especially in this main event, as we just talked about off the top, especially for Valdina. Like the pressure is definitely more on Valdina in this spot. With Cam Arnold, he's 33. There's still a possibility the UFC could be calling, or there could be a big show opportunity. But I think the focus is on Valdina winning this. He did the first part, which is make the 130-pound weight limit. After this, it's about going in there and performing, and we'll see how this one goes. So yeah, a lot of implications on there. Anything else before we wrap things up that kind of implication wise that you think is important on this card?
I do want to touch back on I know someone pointed out, I think it was the Martin family as well, about the Martin line being removed. I was curious how those lines are going to work for that, because technically Giannetti, Lally, and Martin Sevison are both boxing, not MMA. Yeah. So I am curious if they moved it from MMA to boxing on MGM.
That could be it too. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, something to check out.
I guess Barrett wouldn't be on there because he's an amateur. So it wasn't, we weren't able to confirm that one, but I did notice that one earlier, but I have not heard any rumors since I've been here for the past hour and a half that fight is off. So I think it's just the line isn't available.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And again, it's kind of tough to like. How do you even do the Giannetti and Lally line to a certain degree because they haven't fought boxing before? That's although I guess that happens anyways. You get fighters making their debut, but I find that interesting from an odds maker's perspective. Like, how do you just look at their knockout wins? Like, how do you determine how one would be better in boxing? So,
like I said, you do that, then you avoid the fact that Lolly has a boxing gym. So like all the signs there, like. I think the odds makers were going off the MMA careers and lining it that way. So. Yeah,
that makes sense. No, something to certainly keep in mind. And I know people do like betting, and in all promotions, right? That's the beauty of how we have betting now is that you can even, bet on tonight's card, which is awesome. So that's good. Zac, we're out of time, my friend. This was awesome. I'll be vicariously living through you tonight and seeing things. Just keep in mind for everyone watching this right now, I will be doing post-fight interviews with the fighters. They're basically going to be sitting where Zac is, and I'll be talking to him like I am here. So I'll be watching the same card with you guys as well. But Zac, can't thank you enough for doing this. We kind of just did this at the last minute. I was going to do this by myself and you stepped up, so greatly appreciated. But I want to give you this space right now. If you got anything coming up, doesn't matter for other promotions, doesn't matter. If you got anything coming up interview wise or anything else you want to promote, I'll give you the last word here.
Yeah, I'm actually about to start a marathon of cards for the next month and a half. I'm at a card almost every Saturday into April. Okay. Some of them are the first cards that the promotions have ever done. Next week is like only Fight Federation 1. Then I'm at a Ring of Combat. Then I'm at Futures Fighting League, which is going to be the pro debut of Wing C. Not announced yet, cool. So there's breaking news if anyone cared about Wing C. But yeah, I'm kind of putting the miles in. Very few people do the miles for a regional. You come all the way from Canada, the complete opposite side of Canada, to come help with Cage Titans. I'm kind of doing the same thing on the East Coast for all the promotions who don't really get enough love that they should.
Yeah. And if there's any fighters watching, you need to be following Zac and the work he's doing. He's doing an awesome job. There aren't many people who do the quality of work that Zac does, from the news side to the interviews and all that. Zac, you're killing it. So thank you again for joining me here. And thanks to all of you. Now go over to Spectation Sports, watch the event tonight. Again, I will be back here all night talking to the fighters and getting those post-fight interviews out. So for myself, for Zac at 4 Ounces of Freedom, my name is James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy the fight.
15 years ago, we started Cage Titans with fans and fighters first in our minds, and man, what a ride it's been. Without you guys, we would not be here today, and I can't thank you enough. The biggest show, the biggest names, all here in the heart of Boston. MGM Fenway, Saturday, February 21st, Cage Titans invades Boston. MGM Fenway with the biggest card we could possibly put together for you fans in New England. MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, grappling, the Cage Titans Super Bowl will all take place here on February 21st.